Hey folks, it's Trina here, Executive and Leadership Coach for Mission Driven Women in Leadership. I specifically help women who are stuck in the leadership depletion exhaustion cycle, who want to lead, work, and have impact in a way that's sustainable long term. So if that sounds like you, you're in the right place, and I'm glad you're here. And today we're talking about work colleagues who give you the blues and dealing with adversarial colleagues. Now, dealing with colleagues are very different than a boss or, someone who's on your staff or your team. Most of the time you're on the same level. You might have the same position or same title, but in different departments. And so, it can be sticky in terms of dealing with that other person, dealing with a colleague that is really adversarial and combative, often for no reason. And so today I want to talk about an experience that I had. I want to share that with you, and a specific tip that will really help you navigate that situation a lot better so that you really can save yourself a lot of stress and anxiety down the line. So over the past few weeks, I've been talking a lot about navigating office politics, and office politics can be really frustrating, anxiety producing for a lot of people, and quite frankly, just really difficult to deal with. And so if this is something that you've struggled with, I would love to talk to you, especially if you are looking for another path forward and a way to navigate it better. So if this sounds like you and something that you'd like support with, let's talk. I want to encourage you to sign up for a free sustainable leadership discovery session. In this session, it'll be an opportunity for us to connect and for us to figure out exactly where you're struggling and where you need the most support, and helping you figure out a plan to help you move forward. So again, the link is below this video if you'd like to chat and learn more and how I can support you, and we can take it from there. Okay, so back to the story. So let's talk about the landmines of adversarial colleagues. Okay, so this was some years ago, pre-pandemic, well before the pandemic started, and I had a colleague who I ended up doing a lot of work with, but prior to that, I didn't really know her that well. We hadn't. We were in completely different departments. Our paths didn't cross very often. And so my first really experience with her was going out for drinks with some other colleagues, and she was there. And so, we had all gone out for drinks after work, and as colleagues do, people were talking, complaining about their bosses, talking about work, the very typical things. And one of the things that I noticed was that she wasn't saying anything. And it wasn't the typical, maybe she's shy and holding back. It was more like she was taking notes. And so that was a red flag for me. And so I held back. I wasn't saying very much. I was just talking to a colleague and friend who was sitting next to me. And that was it. And kind of was observing her and the rest of the group and listening and just, having my drink. And that was it. And I just thought that was a really strange behavior when you're in a scenario where other people are talking and complaining. And there was a lot happening in the organization at the time. And so for her not to be saying anything, it made me uncomfortable. So anyway, fast forward to where her and I started working together. And for some reason, just from the very first meeting, this woman did not like me. And it got to the point where in every meeting, she was nasty, combative for no reason, or what started happening where she would say things about me behind my back. Now, I'm telling you, I had hardly had any interactions with her, but it kept getting back to me that she always had something negative to say, or, was questioning my judgment on things. I mean, it was just all these things that I'm like, I barely spoke in any words to her, let alone, had a disagreement or something like that. So I couldn't understand where all of this was coming from. And quite frankly, got to the point where it didn't matter. And so what ended up happening was in meetings, I started confronting her. When she would have an attitude or say something rude or nasty, then I will confront her right in the meeting. Because for me, and this is what I want to say that I think is really important when you have a combative colleague, is that it really is important to address it in the moment so that you have witnesses. You don't ever want to get into a situation with a colleague where you have an adversarial relationship where it turns into he said, she said. And this can be harder now for a lot of folks who tend to work from home more, and there's that remote work situation. But as much as you can, if you can avoid being alone with this person or not having a witness to the conversation, avoid that as much as possible. If you have emails or any type of communication or meetings or anything like that, I highly encourage you to have someone else present, to CC someone else on the email, to make sure someone else is in the conversation, because you don't ever want a conversation that can be skewed in the other person's favor, or that person can say something that you didn't say and take it out of context, or say that you threatened them or got belligerent, or all the things that people make up when they don't like you, or they're trying to get rid of you, or they don't want you there, or they don't want to work with you, or whatever it is. So again, the tip is really not to be alone with that person, and to make sure there's a third party that's engaged in the conversation with the two of you, so that there is a witness, and a witness that can be objective. So again, it can be something as simple as a meeting, but those are the things that can take a situation between two colleagues off the rails very quickly. So again, and if you're in person, I would say, don't have meetings behind closed doors. Make sure the door is open. Make sure that there are people walking by who can hear you, who can see what's happening, so that, again, there's a witness and that other people know what's going on. Okay. So that's all for today. If this sounds like something that you've struggled with, if you're dealing with an adversarial colleague at work and you're not really sure how to handle it, if it's something that's causing you to lose sleep every night, or something that's extremely frustrating for you and you're not really sure how to navigate it, and you're looking for a path forward, let's talk. So I encourage you to sign up for a free Sustainable Leadership Discovery session with me. Again, the link is below this video. So I'd love to talk to you and see how I can support you. And that's all for today, and I'll talk to you soon.